that coefficient there, we take half of it to get what's going to go down here. That's going to be a 3 plus a 3. And then we square it to get what's going to go here. This time it's a 9. All right, so we've added a 1 and a 9 to our equation. Well, let's take this 15 because all numbers that are single numbers occur on the other side. Let's take the 15 over by adding it. And then if we add to one side, we have to add to the other side. So the 1 that we needed to make our perfect square for x gets added to the right-hand side. The 9 that we needed to make our perfect square for y gets added to the other side. So that it's still balanced. And then our right-hand side gets added up to be 25 conveniently. A perfect square. So now we're in standard form. We can read off that the center is what's the center?
That would be minus 9.
Okay, you can add and subtract, but you have to do it on the same side of the equals. I prefer to add on one side and add on the other side. What's the center? What's the HK? What's H? What's K? Yeah. Negative 1 is H. Positive, negative, I'm sorry. Geez, let's start it again. 1 is, yeah, my bad. So it's x minus h, so it's 1. And basically you end up taking the opposites of these guys because it's minus the h and minus the k. So 1, negative 3 is our center. Not 25 is our radius. Square root of that. 5 is your radius. Okay, it's called completing a square. And that skill, we could have actually used that skill back in solving quadratics. Or that's actually what's behind the scenes for the quadratic formula is this technique of completing the square. It'll come back up again later. Oh yeah, well. Let me find one. 95? 95. It's much more difficult if there's numbers in front of the x and y square. I don't think we should go there. Let's just go with this, with the 1s there. So what you do is, you put the two x terms together. We have x squared minus 4x. And we would like to add something so that this guy is a perfect square. Okay? The relationship between the numbers is that what goes down here with the x is half of the number that's in front of the x. A 2. Half of 4 is 2. What goes as the thing that gets to be added? The square of what that number is. So it's a 4. Let me do it in a different color. We need to add a 4 to both sides of the equals. Okay, let's do the same thing for y. We have y squared plus 6y. It's the same exact as before. plus a blank space. This guy needs to be a perfect square. And we just saw that half of 6 is 3. 3 squared is 9. So we just saw that one. Don't forget that these two parentheses get squared. There's a plus in between them. And then what you do is, the number that was floating out there without an X or a Y on it, put it over to the other side. This time it's going to be a negative because it's positive where it's at. And then those blank spaces also need to be added to the right-hand side as well. A 4 and a 9.
Question.
Yeah.
Why do you add it to the side? Why do you subtract them?
Okay. If I want to add and subtract, I do it to the same side. Right? If I add a 9, I immediately have to take away a 9. But instead of doing that, I'd rather add to both sides. It's the same thing, but I add to both sides to keep it balanced. I can't just add 9 over here. The only way I'm going to do that is if I take away 9 over here, or if I add a 9 over here to keep the balance in the equation. Okay? And what's that right-hand side combined to? Positive 4, yep. There we go. So we can read off then what the center and the radius is, and we can even graph it. Take the opposites of the numbers that are in there with the x and the y. So 2, negative 3. And take the square root of whatever's on the right-hand side to get the radius. So let's try to graph this. The center is 2, negative 3. That's the center. And the radius is 2. So from there we go 2 in each direction, up and down, left and right. That gives us 4 kind of corner points to the circle. And then we make the circle off of that. The center isn't part of the circle, it's just the points on the circle are the ones we're interested in. So that's it for what was left over from that section from 2 classes ago, last week this time. And so now we can move on to a quick couple questions from what we did last time, lines, and then we'll move on to the next section after that. Oh, yeah, that's what we do here. Okay. Yeah. This is that section 1.2 in the old book, 2.2 in the online book.